So this is going to be a reading for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. If you hear anything in the background, my dog is snoring right beside me, so please ignore that. So first of all, I just want to look at Will Smith and see, how does he feel about Jada Pinkett Smith and what does he think about her? What does Will Smith think about her? I mean, Will Smith. What does he feel about her? He likes that he can be, as immature and silly as he wants around her. Like, it's not, things don't always have to be serious all the time. She's also taught him to be a much better communicator throughout their relationship. Okay. Okay. He feels like predominantly they're happy at the moment, like things are okay, but there's been a lot of points in the past when they've been together, I don't even know how long, but 20 years, maybe more than that. So obviously there's been a lot of bumps in the road for them. I'm so sorry, my dog just snores every time I put this camera on. He does feel like it's always like she has this like tendency sometimes, or at least he would say that she does, to kind of get a bit moody, get a bit down, not feel very great. And I feel like when she gets like that, he's kind of unsure about what he should do. Like, I feel like when she gets into that kind of moody place, he's just like, let me leave the house, let me go away, let me just let her get herself sorted out. Because I feel like maybe in the earlier parts of their relationship, he perhaps tried to crack jokes when she was like that or cheer her up, and he's kind of learnt that that is not the way to handle those sort of moments, because it just makes her more irritated. So yeah, he kind of just leaves the house when she gets like that. I don't know about Jada's like previous relationships, so leave it in the comments if anyone knows about like any of her previous relationships. But from what I'm seeing here, I feel like she had some difficult relationships before him, and those kinds of issues that came from some very unhealthy relationships that she had maybe when she was a teenager, it left her with quite a lot of difficulties with relationships and issues with relationships, and just issues with like self-esteem and how she feels about herself. I don't know if she was maybe criticised a lot as a child, or just kind of not, I just feel like there was someone around her that just kind of picked on her and was not very nice to her, and it left her with like a lot of difficulties with relationships. He knows all of this, and he kind of can tell when she's getting into her head a bit more, and letting those kinds of past relationships, past comments that she's heard get on top of her and affect her. But she can definitely be, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people do kind of see her as being a bit more serious. Maybe because she hosts like quite a serious show like Red Table Talk, where she deals with some serious subjects, but she can be quite silly. She can be quite fun. You know, she's not serious all the time. And he just feels like she does really get him and really understand him at this point. He thinks she's a very good mother as well. And that she's just very smart. Like, I'm just getting this like feeling from his energy that it's just like, he just thinks she's so intelligent. Like, it kind of, he's like in awe sometimes with some of the stuff she comes out with, because he's just like, she is so intelligent. But yeah, I don't see, I mean, from his perspective here, yes, there's been issues. Yes, he thinks she gets moody. You know, yeah, there's been some problems along the way, but I feel like from him, at least his standpoint now, he has a lot of respect for her. It's funny, I don't know if maybe they were more kind of passionate earlier on in the relationship. Maybe this is just because they've been together so long, but this spread, it doesn't scream intensely in love, like amazingly passionate. It doesn't have that vibe to it. It has more of a mature, respecting your partner, understanding they aren't perfect. Like, it just has like a mature kind of vibe to it, at least from his standpoint. Like, it's not, you know, they're not like passionately in love, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, they've been together a long time. You can't stay in that kind of place in a relationship for like 20 years. Most people do not stay there, so you know, that's not a bad thing. I think they've come to a point now where it's, I just get the feeling like they're just really good friends as well as being partners. I feel like they'll kind of grow as they get older into, you know, not necessarily more of a friendship, but just that kind of place where you've been together so long, you know everything about each other, you know, you love each other, but you're not obsessed with each other, if you know what I mean. So let's see, how does she feel about him? How does Jada Pinkett Smith feel about Will Smith? How does she feel about him? she gets irritated because of him being indecisive sometimes. But then he's a Libra, so is it really that shocking to say that he's indecisive? Oh, there's 2 cards there. Okay. It impresses her, like, how he can just, like, shut out rumours and, you know, gossip that may be going around about him or them. Like, he really does not, at least from her perspective, he really does not let that sort of stuff affect him. I just as well get this feeling of her being like, the man he is now is so different from the man she met when they first got together. Like, he has really changed so much throughout their relationship, and changed, like, in a lot of ways for the better. Like, she's happy with the person he's become. I just get this sense as well of, like, he is just, like, on the go all the time, like, always working, always figuring out what he wants to do next, always planning where he wants to go in his career, in, like, endorsements, and, you know, he's always figuring out what he wants to do next. And it's very, like, quick energy. He's, like, just moving on to the next one as soon as he finishes something. It does sometimes, like, stress her out, or at least it has in the past stressed her out a little bit when he's been away from home so much, because there's, like, that worry of what is he doing, like, is he, you know, is he being faithful, you know, that kind of thing. Because I do feel like there's been a lot of times throughout the relationship where they have not been physically together because one of them's been working. You know, he might have been shooting a movie in another country, she's in another country, and they just weren't together physically. So there's been little moments of that, but I mean, let me pull some more cards just to check this out. And I just heard in my head, like, he's calmed down a lot as he's got older. Oh, okay. I do get the feeling that if things get too, what's the word I'm looking for? Too confrontational, or too, like, almost like a conversation could tip into an argument, he will cut off communication. Like, he will walk away, he will end the phone call, he will not text her back. Like, if he thinks that they're going to get into an argument, if he's, like, if they're talking and, you know, voices start to get a bit raised, things start to get a bit like they might turn into an argument, he will just leave the house. And that, in the moment, I think that really drives her nuts. But I think when she's calmed down a bit later on and they can kind of talk about things in a less emotional point, she kind of thinks, okay, it's probably for the better that he left when he did, and so it didn't escalate into, like, an argument at the time. But yeah, he's kind of, I mean, kind of harsh with it, to be honest, like the way I'm feeling. And I don't think this is just with her, I think this is with anybody. Yeah, I feel like he will just, like, if someone starts raising their voice on the phone, he just hangs up. And he doesn't even think about it that much afterwards. He's not, like, getting really annoyed or getting really kind of, you know, uptight about things. He's just kind of like, he just puts the phone down and then doesn't think about it and is like, okay, well, they can sort themselves out. Like, it's kind of like a little bit of, like, it's kind of a little cold. But yeah, it does stop arguments in their tracks. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if there's been some sort of cheating, like, earlier in their relationship. Obviously, I know about the whole August Alsina thing that came out a few years ago and the whole entanglement situation. But I don't consider that cheating because, as they said on their Red Table Talk, they were not together when that happened. They were separated and they were both with other people doing their own thing. I feel like this is not that. I think there may have been some little messing around at some point, which is hardly shocking. I mean, this is kind of something that happens, at least from what I've seen in readings, is something that happens in most celebrity relationships. I don't see celebrities being very faithful. But there's been a little bit of that. He just makes so much money as well. That's just what I'm hearing. He just makes so much money. He's just always making money. And yeah, he is kind of, at least now, he is relatively calm. Like I said earlier, he doesn't really entertain arguments or stuff like that. He will just kind of like shut it down. I mean, if he does have a disagreement with someone, it's still calm. I don't really get the vibe of him being like shouting at people or getting in people's faces. Like, if he has an issue with someone and he doesn't want to walk away, like if he can't, he will be very calm about what he says. To be honest, I don't see him just being like that emotionally bothered by people and things. Once again though, there's this thing coming up of like her past. There's just like, there's something in her past, could be a past relationship, could be someone who was around when she was a kid who spoke to her in a certain way. There's just someone there that they said things to her that never leaves her head. Like, it'll be 20, 30 years since whatever happened, and since she knew this person, and she will still hear those words in her head. And it's just a difficult thing for her to deal with in her relationships because she's kind of got that going on. She respects his like work ethic though. Okay, let me just ask, are they in an open relationship? Because I remember when that was the rumour about them, that they were in an open relationship and all this sort of stuff. And I know that their relationship, or at least from what I've seen publicly, is not, you know, very traditional, I guess I would say. So is their relationship open? Do they have an open relationship? Do they have an open relationship? I just heard in my head no. I don't know what it's been like in the past, but right now, no. they're pretty happy together right now, and they do, like Ace of Cups, they do love each other. There may have been slips, there may have been a little bit of messing around on the side in the past, but currently, right now, no, it is not an open relationship. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a few cards for, like, I'm going to do like the past of their relationship, the present and the future, and see what comes up here. Show me the past, present and future. They've always both been very money focused. Oh my god, sorry, my dog's not. I mean, things have definitely not been perfect. There's definitely been some real issues in the past. They've just changed so much as well, like from who they were when they first met and who they are now. Them and their relationship has gone through so many different changes. You know, it's just like it was always evolving, always changing, as they grew older, and you know, they had kids and their lives changed. I'm not gonna lie, I do see her being quite upset, I guess, at different points. This feels like it could be because he can just be, not that he's not emotional, but it's just like, he's just kind of calm a lot of the time, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't let his negative emotions like anger or anything like that get out of control. He can just be a bit kind of calm, and this can sometimes feel a bit like emotional detachment, but it's not. It's just the way he is. It's not that he isn't emotionally attached to people, it's not that he's not feeling certain emotions, but he can just be a bit calm about things. So and I feel like that at times has made her a little bit unsure or insecure about maybe how he feels about her, or just, yeah, unsure about what he's thinking about her and their relationship. I feel like in the past, she needed kind of more, or she wished she would have had more reassurance at certain times from him, about their relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like there was a specific project that he did. I think this is a movie. This, in my head, is just like, I think it's definitely a movie. I don't think it was like a song or anything to do with any of his music stuff. I think this was a movie that he did that she was really not happy about. Not because of like what the movie was about, not because of the movie specifically, but I think it was because of maybe who he was working with, or you know, stuff that was going on the set. There was definitely a project that he did that really affected her, and that in turn it did affect him, because yeah, he might be, you know, a bit calm at times with people, and it might seem like he's not super emotional, but he can definitely pick up on how she feels. He might not show it, but he can definitely tell how she feels. And when she was not happy about this, he could tell. He would get off the phone, like I'm just seeing it in my head, he'd just get off the phone, he would be like a bit upset because he could hear that she was upset, and it was just like a bad situation. I don't know what movie this is. It's in the past though, so it's like they've moved past that situation. But there was a movie that really was not good for their relationship. In the present, they definitely have good communication. Now, they definitely have good communication. They talk to each other a lot about their projects, their work, what they're excited about doing. They talk to each other about that, and I feel like they're each other's best advisor, which is really nice, because I feel like, for example, she'll go to him or he'll go to her saying like, oh, I'm really excited about this project, I really want to do this, and then he or her will say, okay, you know, you sure this is right? And they'll kind of give their advice on the situation, and you know, they'll kind of figure out together if it's the best move. There's definitely been projects that they've both been kind of interested in, that they've spoken to each other about, and then like figured out, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea, maybe this is going to cause controversy, maybe this is like just not what I want to be doing now, and then they've walked away from the situation. But they definitely like advise each other quite a bit about that sort of stuff. They're very realistic as well. I feel like they're both quite just realistic about how they feel about each other, about their relationship, about their emotions now. They're just very kind of mature about things. Like, I don't get petty energy at all. Like, they kind of, you know, maybe they've had moments like this in the past, but at least now, they understand each other, they understand their own emotions, and their own reactions enough to kind of, you know, they don't, I don't get like the vibe of like them being like hugely reactionary, if you know what I mean. Like, they kind of think through what they're doing before they do it. They think about what they're saying to each other, you know, how they think about if they're having an issue with one another, they will talk about it in a very kind of mature way. Makes me wonder if they've done like couples therapy or something like that to kind of pick up these tools. But yeah, and you know, I do get the vibe that kind of the most difficult parts of their relationship, and this is not to say that they won't have difficulties going forward, but this is just saying like the most difficult parts, when they were perhaps younger, they didn't have, you know, the maturity they would later learn, you know, when they were kind of a bit more petty, I guess. Things would get out of control back then, you know, any sort of messing around on the side, anything like that. I just feel like the worst is over in their relationship. They've gone past it, like they've weathered the storm and they've just kind of got past the most difficult things that their relationship would go through. But that is not to say that things won't happen in the future. But right now, the way it looks for them for the future, I just see more hard work, more projects going on. I feel like Jada Pinkett Smith, like there's something that's going to happen with her Red Table Talk. I don't know if it's going to be, there's something about it just expanding or just getting or becoming bigger. Like, I don't know if it's going to be on like a television channel, like with, I don't know what's going on with it. I mean, I've only ever watched it on like the internet, on I think it's like Facebook or something it was on. So I don't actually know if it's on TV, but there's definitely something about Red Table Talk growing and becoming bigger. And I feel like that's kind of something she's going to do for a long time, because I feel like she enjoys Red Table Talk a lot. I mean, I don't see any prominent issues in their future. I feel like, yeah, they're both going to still continue changing and developing as people, and their relationship will still change the way it's always been. That like they've always had changes there. That will always happen for them. But I don't see any sort of breaking up because of that. I just feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like things are good. I don't see any issues for the future for them. I feel like they're going to be, at least the way things are right now, and, you know, people have free will, people can change things. That's why predictions can always be a bit difficult with tarot, because people can change things and change their direction. But with the way things are going right now, I feel like they're good. I don't see any big issues. I feel like they're going to be fine. So that's kind of what I see for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Thank you for watching, and that's it.